let's hope we have fans on. Well, no fans in attendance.
No fans in attendance.
Hello, beer fans.
Like.
Welcome to the opening round of the American Adjunct Lager Beer Tournament. In one semifinal tonight. Hello, beer fans.
This guy is trying to speak, William.
We have
somebody's playing their YouTube while it's going on.
Okay. We have the King of Beers, Budweiser, versus the Colorado Kool-Aid, Coors Banquet. The winner of this will advance to the championship round to face the winner of the Miller High Life versus Pabst Blue Ribbon other semifinal, date to be determined. So I'm glad to like to thank all the panelists for joining me here tonight. And
thank you for hosting, Will.
Okay.
Thank you for the idea.
Something a little bit different. I hope it goes well. But what we have here tonight pitted against each other are the two flagship beers, lagers of these two respective companies, Molson Coors and Anheuser-Busch. Coors, dating back to 1873, Budweiser, 1876. Both have rich histories. And, so what I thought we would do, the format is once the flag drops, each person will drink their beers at the same time. Just opens, start pouring, sniff, drink, and when you've come to a decision, just raise your hand and say, I know which one is my winner. Then when each person came to a decision, at the same time, everyone will hold up whichever is their winner, can or bottle. Everybody will, when it's revealed, will each person know what the other one voted.
Gotcha.
It's not a race, right?
No,
it's not a blind. It's not a blind taste test.
No, it's not a blind. And once the votes have been cast, then I'll ask each panelist how they come to their decision of they chose that one to win the other one. So that's
when you said the players take the field, and I said no fans in attendance, I was making a joke about how they want to start all these sporting events with no fans in attendance.
Well, the only one that's considered an essential business is the WWE, but only in the state of Florida.
Apparently.
That the governor gave them special permission.
Type of beer.
Right, and let's see. The tail of the tape is both of these are at 5% ABV, which pretty much caps the ABV for this variety, the American Adjunct Lager. And calorie counts are very similar: 147 for Coors, 145, I think, for Budweiser.
Yep.
They both use currently. Coors uses the brewer's dextrose. They use the brewer's syrup. Everybody knows that Budweiser, of course, uses the rice. Previously, Coors used rice. Then they switched to cornstarch because the price of rice then they went back to rice. And now they're using the brewer's syrup. So they've gone through quite a few iterations. And most people think that these beers have changed quite a bit over the period of the 1950s, 1960s. Budweiser has acknowledged that their IBUs have dwindled in the beer post-prohibition, and they've used quite a different variety of hop strains in that period. And as I just mentioned about the changes in the Coors, Coors Banquet in the early 70s used Cascade hops. They were one of the few macro brewers that did that. Their rationalization was that we can achieve the hoppiness we want by using less. By using Cascades, less hops, and therefore it would save us money. But the Cascades hops didn't really catch on until Sierra Nevada brewed American Pale Ale. And that's what triggered the craft beer revolution. So it's sort of irony that Coors used that first, but yet it was the Sierra Nevada that made it really popular. And like I said, it really triggered the craft beer revolution. And at one time, Coors changed the spelling of thoroughly on their products. Thoroly. There was a simple spelling movement going around in the country at one time. Thoroughly aged. They just dropped the OUGH. They said, we don't need that. We'll just spell it like it sounds phonetically. And there was actually a simple spelling commission. Andrew Carnegie, the industrialist, started that. He had the blessings of President Teddy Roosevelt and also the support of Mark Twain. It didn't catch on. There was only 2 words during that time period that caught on: program and catalog. If you're not counting like drive-through, where they use the THRU. But at one time it said on the can, thoroughly aged Coors Banquet. So,
And I looked at some old magazine articles from the 1920s, and they spelled Boulder Bowlder, like a bowl. Boulder.
But okay, all you have your beers now. So I think it's time to.
Interesting stuff.
And as you drink, I can ask you a few questions, and if anything you want to comment about, I'm really liking this. I'm noticing this. Feel free to comment. And I'll, one thing I want to do is basically try to host is to follow the chat first of all. And I've already drank both of them myself. I did before. I'm going to continue drinking, but I've got a pretty good idea.
Okay.
So I prefer, but I'm going to continue to drink. So
my abilities for running these StreamYards is not too good. I make a lot of mistakes.
But let the drinking begin.
Yeah, damn, wow. There you go. All right.
One thing I noticed is that the Budweiser always has that slight green look.
I noticed that when I was drinking mine.
Coors.
Bumpy got a cool look.
I can always tell Budweiser when I see it in the glass because it's got that slight green hue.
Yes, it kind of does, yeah.
And it's thinner bodied in the look. Like it looks thinner. I mean, it probably isn't in a practical sense, but it looks thinner. It's a strange beer. It smells like boiled rice.
Yep.
It's the boiled rice. I like boiled rice. The Coors, you can smell that banana and that roasted, smell like maybe roasted
the banana notes.
Corn grits. No, not banana. You can smell the banana, which is not actually what it is. Just that Belgian style yeast craziness. But
I think I'm with Craig on this one. I am cheering for Coors. But if Budweiser went fair and square, let's respect that outcome, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the Coors seems to have a longer lasting head retention over the Bud.
Yeah.
Coors, I poured mine wrong. My Budweiser does.
Bud.
I figured I would just go right out of the bottle and can.
No. That's wrong.
Science, man. We gotta get our noses into this crap. And then
I can smell it.
Yeah, we got it.
I definitely get an apple smell out of the Budweiser.
Acetaldehyde.
Apple.
Yeah. I think in some of these lager beers, it's not such an off-putting flavor to have that. I think in other drinks it would be more off-putting. You considered a incorrect technique.
My friend David says that he thinks they use formaldehyde in some of these Asian beers, or they used to. I said that sounds like some kind of myth to me.
I made up my mind.
I told him that.
I think the Coors has more of a body to it.
I'm just gonna go by aromas right now. I prefer the smell of the Budweiser over the Coors. The Coors seems to have. I know you said that they no longer use actual corn in it, but it does seem to have like a sweeter, corny type smell in the Coors. And the corn, Budweiser seems to have like a more crisp. That there's that slight hint of like an apple.
Yeah.
Apple, yeah.
I don't get any apple in the Budweiser.
I know what you mean by that.
I'm getting a little green apple skin in the Coors, tell you the truth.
These are actually not as similar as one would think. They're really not.
See, I know in a blind taste, I can get it right.
Now they're both 5%, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I had the 16-ounce can.
That is cool.
This is a 16-ounce too.
Okay.
They both feel like the same amount of carbonation to me, at least. They both have that full feeling.
I have two.
I've got enough left in that one to continue
Yeah.
drinking mine, and I'm
Yeah.
going to grab another one of these.
I went to get the Budweiser and the Coors.
That's the little 8-ounce cans they started selling.
Okay.
I finished
I went to
that
get the
one.
Budweiser and the Coors today. And I went to get the Budweiser and the Coors today, and I ended up finding two flavored beers.
The guava.
Got a good deal.
What was it? A guava Rita that you were doing?
Yeah, the guava. Yeah, it just came out. It was only like 63 check-ins on Untapped. That's how new it was. You know, Untapped might have hundreds after a day or two.
Is that the same
There was only
line
one
as
video review, and that was
from the same line as the limerita, the strawberry, and all those?
yeah, they're all like mimicked ready to mix margarita type items. Oh, anyway.
One of these. I'm going to grab another one. These little 8-ounce ones.
Yeah.
I'm drinking.
8 ounce. Yeah, that's to go.
I'm going to grab another one. I got had enough of the Coors left to finish.
Or straight
Ronnie, when I was, even though I was cutting out on the internet, you picked up and you caught what I was saying about how all those Ritas kind of taste the same because of that tartness.
No, I didn't really catch that part.
The Coors.
Oh,
You guys think that the Coors
Okay, well-
really pours more head than the Budweiser? I poured straight down the middle, and I don't know if my Coors, I'd have to look at the can date, but it fizzed away to nothing, whereas Budweiser just kept that head on that one.
yeah, I'm not noticing any appreciable difference either way.
I mean, yeah,
seem
neither one
about-
of mine has a head now, but it was.
Yeah.
It just seemed the Coors. No, it could have been the glass. There could have been a little bit of soap residue in the one that, the Budweiser was in. That would have killed the head quicker. But it was just something I noticed. These are both identical glasses, by the way.
Gotcha.
Like identical.
Hey, man.
That's good. I have identical glasses too, and I noticed that the Budweiser has more lacing.
Yeah, I would agree. I guess I will agree with that, Ron. This one's very clean in the glass.
Another thing, Budweiser's croissant and Coors is not.
Yeah, I'm thinking the Budweiser one. I'm thinking that there must have been like some soap residue left in this glass because it's not leaving lacing. The Coors one does have a little bit.
With a lot of bubbles stuck to the Budweiser glass you poured it in.
Yeah, there's no bubbles sticking. Right now.
So, what do you think of the body bumpy?
They're both light and crisp and dry.
Dry for the most part, yeah.
Would you say cold, crisp, refreshing?
All these definitely are, yeah. See, I was going to say, I know what I'm voting for, but I don't know if that necessarily means I prefer the one I'm voting for over the other in its flavor. Does that make any sense?
No.
I think I'm thinking performs better. I'm thinking in its style it might perform better, but I might like one over the other.
So you're grading, or
I'm
you're
actually
choosing by the style?
surprised at the one that I feel is better when I did the side by side, because drinking them separately, like just, I thought I liked one more than the other, but actually putting side by side, I like a different one. So
yeah, I'm just gonna stick with my gut on which one I think is.
I'm still thinking. They're definitely different.
Rice is definitely giving the sweetness a different character in the Budweiser over the Coors Banquet. There's definitely a different approach to the sweetness in these two beers and how it's coming across the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
They both have the same amount of carbonation, it feels. Ooh.
A lot of gas, right?
That looks like Coors. Is that Coors that one?
Budweiser, and this light, I'm picking up that little bit of a greenish tint in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of head still on a Budweiser compared to the Coors there. Wow.
I've heard other people talk about those headaches. I never got a headache from Budweiser, but maybe I'm not sensitive to their yeast strain. I think that
we
weird.
talked about that, right? With the yeast strain, that sometimes it didn't sit well for a lot of people in their stomachs, which kind of made them feel a little bit.
That I just theorized that it seems like they use sort of a more of a raw yeast strain. It's almost like when you drink Budweiser, it tastes like it's green or something, like it's like almost a draft beer. I think that's all just in my head, but it doesn't bother me a bit, but other people drink one Budweiser and get the nastiest headache. Now, I have reported that Budweiser, sometimes when you take a long sip of it, it does you get the feeling that somebody stuck an ice pick in your temple. So there is something, it's something sort of jarring about it.
I guess. Right?
I'd say the Budweiser is also like a lighter shade of gold versus the Coors. The Coors has like a little bit more of like an orange tinge to it.
You know what I think too? I think the Coors is more of a slow sipper, and the Budweiser is more of a, you can kind of down it down quicker.
More of a burnished gold.
Yeah, maybe I see what you're talking about there, Ronnie. Yeah.
The Coors is only brewed at their Golden, Colorado brewery, where Budweiser is brewed throughout the country, but they bring in samples every day to test the consistency and quality of it. But
that's pretty good.
I actually had a little bit of a hard time finding the Coors today.
On the
I got to work, and I figured I could just stop off at the store. I had to go to 2 stores.
Wow, so you had to go way off course, huh?
Way off course.
Yeah.
You little kidder.
On sales, the Budweiser ranks 4th in the country in sales, behind the 3 light beers, the big ones. Coors
Another
is
point.
top 20. It's number 22. So that's a far cry from the day when people would practically kill to get it when you couldn't get it east of the Mississippi. It had a mythic quality to it.
That's funny.
Classic. Presidents wanted it. Movie stars, rock stars, everybody wanted Coors. So I think sometimes a little bit of human nature,
now it's definitely
have trouble getting.
Coors is definitely more on the budget side, and Budweiser's more expensive.
That was their distribution in the 1930s.
Yeah.
On the can? Oh, that's cool.
That's cool. I like that.
The funny thing about it,
special edition can?
the funny thing about it was in 1981, they started selling Coors east of the Mississippi. And then just about 3 or 4 years later, they de-emphasized Coors with the big onset of Coors Light. So as soon as they made Coors popular, they end up making it unpopular with Coors Light. They cannibalized their own product. Well, it doesn't matter to me, but that's what they did.
They got hit with a silver bullet. The silver bullet hit them.
Yeah,
I remember reading about back when I was they put Coors on Air Force One, the plane, when President and Gerald Ford was president. They flew back to Washington with Coors in Air Force One.
Gerald Ford,
Robert Redford, or somebody.
Paul Newman was a big fan of the beer. You know, some of those basically the Smoky Bandit movies were about running Coors across the country. You know, it's just
it was. Yep.
Now the founders of each brewing company, both their first names were both Adolf, weren't they?
Adolf, yeah.
They're both German immigrants, right?
Yep.
In the 1800s.
The Adolf Coors II was the one. He was in the Czech Republic, and someone gave him a seed that was the Moravian barley. And they use exclusively Moravian barley in the Coors, and they traced that lineage directly to when he was first introduced to it in the Czech Republic in the region of Moravia.
Right, but it wasn't called the Czech Republic back then.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but
What was it called?
Bavaria, right?
Holy Roman Empire.
No, I don't know what year. It would depend on what year he got that yeast strain, that barley strain.
Yep.
That was in 1936.
Okay.
Oh, Czechoslovakia.
Czechoslovakia.
Czechoslovakia. Okay.
I'm just talking about what
kind of
website. Their
website
actually has a lot of information.
It used to be part of Germany, right?
Chronicling the history of the beer and.
Yeah, it was. You're right, William. They know how to run a website.
Yeah.
They're not like Pabst.
Surprise.
Sneak preview. Yeah, this one. Wait a minute. Whoa.
One thing I was a little bit noticed, the Coors didn't have very good head retention.
No.
I noticed that right away. It went a very,
But this is a Budweiser. Definitely sticks. I just poured it.
But it is a bit darker.
The Kool-Aid.
When do we get to do the Kool-Aid?
The Kool-Aid.
Hey, William. One thing I notice is that, or one thing people will notice if they have a sharp eye, is that almost every Coors product is kosher, certified kosher.
Certified kosher.
Yeah, and I talked to a woman, and she told me why. And I said, "Oh, that makes sense." What?
What is the reason?
Does the Denver population or does the population of Colorado have a lot of Jewish people that reside there?
A lady I know said that she lived in Colorado, Denver, Colorado, from 1960 to 62, when her husband was going to pharmacy school, and there was a high percentage Jewish population in Denver, not Colorado specifically, but Denver, not the whole state, but Denver. And so that she thinks that that's the reason that they made sure all their products were certified kosher.
Certified.
That makes sense.
What about the carbonation level? Do you find one a little bit more crisp than the other one? A little bit?
Not really. Not really.
I don't think the carbonation really has to do with the crispness. To me, the Budweiser just has a cleaner taste to it than the Coors. The Coors seems
it's lighter. I think
dirty.
I wouldn't say dirty. I think it's a lighter body on the Budweiser.
Well, like I said, there's kind of that weird like it's like a corny sweetness or syrupy sweetness to the Coors that the Budweiser doesn't have.
Yeah, because it doesn't have because Budweiser uses that verdant rice. They use verdant rice, which means it's green. They use rice that's fresh, not old dry rice, but verdant rice.
I do think that it's
beer's green.
I do think that between A and B beer, I could be wrong, but at least for me, it seems like it's coming down to and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, the sweetness. What kind of a sweet flavor do you like? The rice and even Japanese beers, it is like a Japanese beer with the rice, where it's reminding me more. It has almost more of a pronounced sweetness than the Coors Banquet. I know that seems counterintuitive, but it seems that way in my taste bud. Maybe I'm completely wrong about that, but that's how it's coming off to me, at least. I'm finding the Budweiser to be a little bit more.
When I started drinking the Coors, I was picking up that little banana note, but I wasn't sure. I didn't quite at that time really trust my palate that well. So I went to the website, and actually they mentioned it. They use a horizontal box fermentation method, which is more of a classic old style. And they attribute that to giving it the banana note flavor that you get. Plus, they use a proprietary strain of yeast, which gives it a little bit. They didn't even notice a little bit of a fruitiness in the aroma for the Coors. They attribute that to the proprietary yeast that they use.
Yeah. I can say right now I'm not picking up on the banana notes, but I have had Coors before where I have. But it's very seldom that I ever actually pick up on the banana notes.
It's temperature dependent too.
Yeah. If
you drink it a little bit, the tendency for these beers maybe drink them a little bit too cold. And many times you'll miss that. But the one I'm drinking now is cold, but not like numbingly cold. And I can pick it up. But like I say, with these beers, every beer is the temperature is a huge factor in each tasting experience. Really.
Well, it's supposed to be cold with these adjunct lagers, right?
Colder
the better.
Ice crystals come out. I mean, you're going to. That defeats the whole purpose of it.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, one more thing. One more thing for the first. I think until 1908. I think I could be wrong, but I know it was a long time. But I believe until 1908, the Budweiser label was in German.
Oh, really?
If you look at the old labels, all of the writing is in German.
Well, in some European companies, it's sold as Bud. That's the can's Bud.
Because of a lawsuit.
1908, huh?
Yeah, and another thing about Budweiser, not only was the label in German, it was the same ingredients: water, barley malt, rice, yeast, and hops. So these people that run around talking about ever since they started adding rice, it ain't been any good. I say, you must have been around in 1876 when they started making it. Maybe the first day they didn't use rice, and the next day they did. And they'll say, where do you get that idea? I said, I got photos of labels back to 1876. You want to tangle? Back up.
But I think when a lot of people, regular beer drinkers, say, I just want to have a beer, many times they're referencing this. This is the original light beer. The light beers that we know now are spinoffs of the adjunct lager.
Uh-oh.
So I think a lot of guys, there are people who drink nothing but Bud Light, but there's people who like these Budweisers. And when you say, I just want to get a beer, they're talking about this many times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
A beer
true.
flavored beer.
Remember,
My parents' generation are definitely just into the Budweisers from the 70s. If they said I want a beer, it would definitely be a Budweiser.
Fall into this category.
and remember, Budweiser is number 4 in the United States, but it's still number 1 in the world.
Hmm.
In the whole world, it's number 1. And don't let those articles, those clickbait articles about snow beer fool you, because those articles are not correct. And I know why.
Something I do notice in both of them, it's a little bit more prominent to me in the Budweiser. Now this is normally considered like an off note, like an off flavor note, like oxidization and stuff. I don't think it's oxidization. I noticed it a lot in like the cervezas of Mexico. They're like really prominent to me in the cervezas of Mexico. I know everybody's palate's a little bit different. It's just something I constantly pick up on, in like light lagers and cervezas. I guess those would be Vienna style lagers, but
Vienna style lagers.
I pick up like a cardboard to clay note.
Yeah, cardboard. I totally get that.
It's kind of more prominent in the Budweiser to me than the Coors, but I think that's due to that kind of extra sweetness that seems to be in the Coors. That kind of
Cardboard, huh?
Yeah,
like wet grains, basically. If that makes any
I
sense.
don't pick up anything like that.
Brew a beer.
And I deal with cardboard a lot.
Brew a beer.
I don't like it, you know.
We're not drinking cardboard, but it's got a wet, grainy sensation.
Yeah, I don't even know what cardboard would taste like.
Dirty grains.
Just like I don't know what a horse blanket would smell like.
Right. I do, and it's not like something you'd want to drink. Oh, well,
I can imagine.
I know I'm ready. I'm ready.
I think I'm just going to go with where I'm at. Yeah.
I know Eric's in. Jay's in.
I'm okay. I'm ready.
no, I'm in. I know what I.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay.
Wait. Yeah, I'm ready. We holding up the can? Yeah.
Okay.
What do we do?
Just okay. When I say reveal, just hold up the one
Okay.
that is your winner. Okay.
Okay.
Reveal your winner.
Come on, Ronnie. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
It's
This is
Like
3-2.
3-2.
This is a farce. I've been cheated.
Wow. 3-2.
Cheers, Ron.
Wow.
Cheers to you. Well, we know good beer, Jesse. There.
Push it, Craig would say. I still think that I'm crazy, but I still think that the Coors had less. There goes the phone. I think Coors had less of a sweetness to it, which is why I picked the Coors.
Hold the phone. Hold the phone.
3-2 for Coors. A one-run baseball game.
My reason is I think
I'll
I said.
I'll ask each one now to.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll start. Okay, we'll start with you, Ronnie. Why did you choose?
I chose Coors. I think it has more of an enjoyable drink to it, where it's more of a sipper, like I mentioned, where you can actually kind of sit back and enjoy it. It's got a stronger body, I think, than the Budweiser. The Budweiser's more of it's like a bit stronger of a Bud Light, you know, basically what it's supposed to be, and so you just kind of drinking them down and they go real quick. I think the Coors has a better body and it's just more of a sipper.
Yeah, I agree with all that stuff too. Before the phone rang, yeah, I'm definitely gonna add to that too. Yeah, definitely the Coors was the bigger, bolder, was the more fuller bodied drinking experience beer in it. I mean, none of these beers are bad, but I think that the Coors apologizes less for just what it does than the Budweiser trying to be a little bit more clean and refreshing. But if that's the reasoning to pick Budweiser over Coors, I 100% get that. Yeah.
Okay, Bumpy, you come in from a different perspective. I'm glad you were here because being a home brewer yourself, and what was the determining factor for you in choosing the Budweiser?
Exactly what Eric just left off with it being more cleaner and crisp. It's just, to me, it has just a cleaner mouthfeel. It doesn't it drinks down easier. I actually enjoy that little bit of apple note I was tasting. I know that Distiltel is not really something that sometimes you can put it in there. I think they intentionally have that in there because it is that little bit of a different flavor note. And I think it works with the Budweiser. I didn't really enjoy the kind of, like, I called it a dirty flavor with the Coors, which is kind of that like corny sweetness deal I was getting from the Coors. I prefer the cleaner, crisp taste of the Budweiser with that little bit of an apple note. Maybe that comes from the wood too, because they do put it on the staves there.
Beechwood.
Beechwood.
Neutral flavor.
It just, I feel like I can down a Budweiser quicker than I can a Coors. Like the Coors does seem like it would. The Coors does seem like it would fill me up quicker, just because it just has like that. Even though they're the same alcohol percent and pretty much the same body type, they're both light bodied. It just seems like it's an extra like attempt to swallow the Coors, but the Budweiser just wants to go right.
Yeah, I think in the style there's a little bit of that acetaldehyde that's permitted within the style.
I agree.
And that follows the lineage because
what is that, William?
Light has that too.
Yeah, what I call it. Did I call it Distiltel? Yeah, acetaldehyde. It's
like a green apple skin.
Yeah,
little flavor.
Go to Craig's next comment.
Okay, Jay, why did you choose the Budweiser?
Okay, Craig made another comment. I just wanted you to.
What does Craig got to say?
He says,
"Good job, gentlemen." Thank you, Craig.
Ronald Curio, your thoughts?
Well, even though I'm so very bitterly disappointed, I'll tell you what I think.
Nice, Bumpy. Yeah.
Ooh.
Is that a wheat?
Actually, I kind of thought Coors was going to win for me when I did this. I didn't think I would pick Budweiser. Well, I like both beers. I think they're top notch. I would score both of them very high. Other people would call them garbage beers, trash beers.
Mostly.
I don't care what they call it. I
Who
don't
would
really
say
care.
that?
Huh?
Craft only people.
Eric would say it.
I didn't say.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I mean, people around the world would say it, not just Eric. All kind of people would say it. But I don't worry about all that because I just drink what I want. And I said that on Alcohol Eggs yesterday. We were talking about how to drink the beer, like out of a glass or out of the bottle straight. And I said my guiding principle is to drink it any way you feel like drinking it. You know,
your beer, you bought it, right?
Yeah, I was drinking out of the bottle, and there's nothing wrong with that, especially for a lighter bodied beer.
I don't like the idea of drinking straight out the can or bottle, but I don't care if other people do it.
There was a notion at one time. I don't want to call anybody out. I don't know if that's a true one or not. You might have your own. I'm not sure exactly what the opinion is, Ron. But we had a YouTuber that used to want to, pour, just like they say with the Budweiser, pour right down the middle, and to kind of pour it, maybe not as fast as you can, but fast enough so that you can get that carbonation out of the beer.
An Alex pour.
Is that really a thing?
Well, Anheuser-Busch, before I give my comments, I'm about to do that.
Yep.
I'll say this in 20 seconds. Anheuser-Busch, for the longest time, advocated the straight-in pour.
Yeah.
And then abruptly in early 2020, they redid their website, might have been late 2019, and their new website advocated pouring it down the side and then turning the glass up. I said, well,
really? Wow.
I wonder what happened here. I was like, I wonder what happened here, because for decades you talked about, they even made videos on television commercials talking about why it's so important to pour it straight in.
That's interesting. That's pretty interesting.
I know.
And it's very, very recent too.
Like 6 months.
For me, it came down to just the fact I enjoyed the Coors more. I acknowledge that the Budweiser is a cleaner tasting. When I drank the Budweiser, it's like, this is perfection for this style. It really is the way. There's nothing at all wrong with it. For me, I just enjoy, maybe it's the warts of it. I just enjoyed the Coors more. The little bit of the, I thought it was a tad maltier, a little more flavorful. And then you toss in that little banana note at the end. It comes down to sometimes the old saying, do you want good taste or something that tastes good? To me, the Budweiser represented good taste, but I thought the Coors tasted good. That's just my personal preference.
Now, honestly, honestly, it was a tie for me. When I got up,
tie. Wait, hold on. Are ties allowed?
No.
Well, I mean, I knew I had to pick, so I walked around and I was looking at old Coors bottles and looking outside at my truck, and I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. What I'm going to tell William, it's a tie. So I started thinking, and I said, well, I like the crisp, clean rice lager flavor of Budweiser, and I can see how that every day at 3:00 Central Time when they bring in samples of Budweiser from the 12 breweries and they sit down and taste test it, I would like to do that job. That they really pinpoint on it. It's like totally executed. You know what I'm saying?
It is. I think it's like perfection for that style, just from a pure brewing standpoint.
Wait a minute.
It would be the same. The quality control is phenomenal, and it's just.
But the Coors is very good too. It could be a personal. Wait, I'm trying to get my final. It could be the fact that I gave Budweiser a slight edge, and I mean slight. I mean, these are so close. It is really a virtual tie, but I think that I just like that little bit more pinpoint accuracy. But I love Coors, and I do probably prefer the rice lager, but that's a personal preference issue. I don't think it's a quality control issue at all. I think their quality for both of these is total practically.
Yeah. I always thought I thought that the Coors, like drinking it alone, like when I was just drinking them, I just grab one. Like when you don't have them side by side, to me, I was like, oh, the Coors. I thought the Coors was going to win for me. That's why I was surprised that I actually enjoyed the Budweiser more. What was interesting too is these are two different breweries. We bought them at the same time in the store. They're within 2 weeks of the Best Buy date.
So you got very good examples.
Yeah.
That's very good. And but I've had beers before. I drank in isolation. I thought I would prefer over another, and I got them together, and it was completely different. That's really where the rubber meets the road, is when you drink them side by side. And sometimes, if you're not trying to guess which one it is, sometimes the blind taste turn into you're looking for that something to differentiate it from the other one, rather than focusing on whether you like it or not.
That's a good point.
I don't think anybody had a dog in the hunt on either side, a dog in the fight. So you're strictly judging by what your palate tells you. So I think that's a honest representation here of the final verdict.
That's a great point. Yeah.
And Jesse, look, or actually not just Jesse, everybody. This Coors can says Best Buy June 29th, and the Budweiser can says Best Buy July 1st.
Wow, that's
So here, this commenter is saying the same thing.
Almost
basically saying he enjoys it because it's more sessionable. I agree, but I kind of went along the other way, saying I enjoy what's less sessionable for whatever reason.
Man, when I do those whiskey taste challenges at 5:30 in the morning, it's really difficult sometimes to decide which one is better. The challenge is seeing if you can tell one from the other. That's the challenge. Can you tell one apart from the other? Normally I can, but then it becomes very difficult to try to decide which one is better, because then you start to wonder, is it just a personal preference issue? And a lot of times I'll say it's a draw. It's a draw. And then you got to consider, what about price? So, price is a factor. We got to buy it, Well,
so, if you bring price into this, Coors is a winner for sure.
Yeah. Can't argue with that. I can get a 6-pack of pint cans at Food for Less for $4.53 plus tax. $4.53 plus tax.
Shouldn't that alone have made you choose Coors? That's normally what you tell people on your channel, though, is they all taste similar. You got to pick.
No.
Well, no.
Budweiser, if
Well,
you
no. If you're going by it's a taste thing, and everything
Well,
else.
with the
Appearance,
virtual
breaking
the
tie,
look,
I
the
say
aroma, the taste, mix it all together.
as far as the pricing goes, if you shop the grocery circulars, every supermarket has Budweiser on sale each week. So I think the price wise, if you shop around a bit, you can get a pretty good deal on the Budweiser. Nobody around here, my area, buys
Budweiser isn't that expensive,
retail
but I
price.
think Coors is always cheaper.
But
Yeah,
I
but
think
Budweiser is the more expensive. It's actually Michelob is probably one of the most expensive ones, but
Michelob, regular,
yeah,
the lager.
or light even.
Yeah,
Those
even
are
the
like-
ultralight is not cheap. Yeah,
No.
But
I know for a lot of people say they can't even get the regular Michelob lager. I can, and I can
thought
get
could.
the Michelob
I couldn't
amber
find it,
lager
though. I
too.
looked for it.
I can get Michelob, but I got to drive about 27 miles.
on the
Yeah.
full disclosure here, I could have placed Bush in this Final Four just based on sales, but I thought it was too close to a light beer, both in calorie count and
Yeah.
ABV.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not a big fan of Bush.
It would
Not
be
a big
better as a
fan.
wild card in a light beer Final Four. So therefore that, and I think it worked out better that way because Bush was just too close to a light beer, where these four are more evenly matched.
Some people say the Bush Light has more body than the regular Bush. I never even tried Bush Light.
we could do your own. We could do our own economical, whatever you want to call it, that sub category tournament too.
When I back 10 years ago when Bush was 4.8, it could have been in the mix, but for some inexplicable reason they dropped it to 4.3, which I do not.
Oh, in 10 years they dropped it 0.5.
Well, I mean,
That's
probably
interesting.
10 years ago, might have been 20. I don't think it was that long ago, but Bush used to be 4.8. At one time, it was 4.9. I've got literature right there. And then yes,
Can they boost more sales that way if you're drinking?
And it's
more?
4.3 right now.
The
And what is the Bush Light?
The Coors has jumped.
4.3 and Bush Light 4.1.
So not a big difference.
The Coors at one time was 4.5, and it dipped down to 4.3 at one point, and it's back up to the 5. But with this one in the books now, just take a brief look toward the next matchup. The Champagne of Beers Miller High Life is the the third best-selling American adjunct lager. Bush is actually second. Bush beer behind Budweiser.
Yeah.
And then number 18 in sales is Pabst Blue Ribbon.
That's not a bad matchup. The PBR and the Miller High Life.
There are some differences between those two.
I like both of them.
Be interesting.
Yeah.
To pit one of those.
Pabst has dropped a lot in the last 10 years. About 2010, it was really going up because of all the hipster stuff. But then, of course, the company that does nothing right was able to capitalize on that by doing nothing and doing nothing positive and deteriorating the whole movement. And now it's down. It's slowly declining back to where it was in 2001, which was almost out of business.
Well, the reason why the hipsters flocked to it was because it was a outsider beer.
Yeah, it was cheap.
So
Outsider beer.
maybe that's good for at least the hipsters might still like it if it never became mainstream.
Yeah, it was also part of the happy hour at bars a lot too. So
Not from what I've seen. I've never seen PBR at bars, but I'm sure it is there.
In New Orleans, you'll find it on tap at quite a few bars.
Wow.
But you got that hipster culture over there. Well, you used to before Coors shut down New Orleans, maybe forever. But yeah, they used to have Pabst Blue Ribbon on draft at Henry's Bar, Carrollton Station. I can name others. Yeah.
Go ahead, name them all.
Interesting.
Name them all.
Budweiser has taken with the Freedom Reserve, and they try to expand the Budweiser line, breathe some new life into that brand. It'd be interesting if they would take the flagship beer and brew like a 50s version or pre-prohibition version of it. Because it's dropping in sales. It might would pump some life back into that product. I'm just wondering if they would ever consider tweaking it to the extent maybe a little bit more.
So when is round 2 going to be, William?
Pardon?
When are we going to do round 2? Have we decided, or we'll decide later?
Tentatively, I would like to probably schedule it on a weekly basis to do it on a Thursday.
So you thinking Thursday nights? Okay.
Yeah. And then possibly after a champion is crowned, to bring in a wild card, maybe, to challenge the winner. Something that everybody could get. It might be a way to sort of extend it another week or so. And then, like
you were thinking Schlitz, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I can get Schlitz.
I can't get Schlitz.
That is a problem. Once you get past these top few, it is very difficult.
Well, what is number 5 on the chart there that you got? Right? Because we're doing the top 4. So what's the 5th one?
Actually, Coors would be the 5th one because Busch would have been in the top 4.
All right. Okay. So what's number 6?
Well, bring in Busch as a wild card.
Nothing
else. No, Busch is going to lose.
30. I'd have to. Usually these lists go to 25 or 30, and after that, it's hard to tell. There's really no sales figures for them. But it's.
Eric's got it. He's looking it up.
I gotta look up like just different names of these things.
Yeah, but
Bell's no, what? No, that's not the right.
I was gonna say something pertinent. Schlitz can be a real problem.
And you can get Schlitz, right, Ron?
Oh yeah, easily.
I know where to get Schlitz.
Easily.
Let's look.
I wanted to say something. Doggone it. I know the last state to get Coors beer was Indiana in 1991. They didn't sell Coors beer in Indiana until 1991. True story. 29 years ago. They didn't sell it east of the Mississippi River until 1981.
Interesting.
I know that it's a 50-50 company now. Coors and Molson have a partnership.
Would
the Molson Coors has changed their logo?
Molson Coors Beverage Company.
It's now a beverage company. The Coors lost its cursive. The across here.
What about Old Milwaukee?
But it's a beverage company now, so they're trying to.
Right.
What about Old Milwaukee as a beer in that as a wild card?
Right.
I'll be able to find that.
But it's very difficult once you get past these top few to find anything that more than 4 or 5 people could get.
I think I can do Old Milwaukee. I'm pretty sure I can get that.
But that's something
Yep.
But
we're gonna be crossing paths with these with the macro beer brewers with those brewing companies. It's just gonna happen unless we choose a Yuengling style beer, which then again that one just might that one I would think would just take over.
Only Yuengling Premium would fit.
Right. Oh, so for those kind of paler beers, yeah.
Not Yuengling Traditional.
Okay.
Why?
So if I can't get some of these beers, who's willing to ship me some beers?
It's gonna cost more than the 12 case beer.
I
don't know why either or of those beers.
I'll PayPal you.
How come the regular Yuengling wouldn't count, Ron?
It's an amber ale.
Amber lager. Yuengling Premium would fit, but then nobody can find it. Now I got to get off of this soon, y'all. But
okay.
I like both of these, but oh well.
Somebody has to win. We got to pick one. Yep.
I think
it's got to be a winner.
William, an idea down the road later in the year, if they're still in the United States, we can do I would say a tournament for malt liquor.
Oh yeah.
Not high gravity.
That'd be
not
great.
high gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do an ice beer one. An ice beer one would be cool.
Ice is nice when you.
Yeah, the ice beer. Yeah,
Eric doesn't like ice beers.
I'm with you on the ice beers. I just wasn't a big fan of.
The new one,
I
right?
really like the Molson Ice, and then probably Bud Ice number 2 in the back.
Oh, what was the new one
I-
that you put on alcohol eggs, Ron?
There's a new one.
Yeah,
Dixie Ice, Dice.
Dixie Ice, and then
Oh,
Eric
really?
said, "Why do we need any more ice beers?"
I don't know.
There's only two malt liquors that I can
We
get.
don't need it anymore, huh? What?
There's only two malt liquors I can get. We got Steel Reserve and Hurricane. That's all I have here in New Hampshire.
It doesn't get a whole
I
bunch
see.
of liquors,
Can't
unfortunately.
get King Cobra.
Nope, never seen King Cobra.
Gotta search far and wide for that.
Get Magnum.
Nope,
No,
haven't seen
Mickey.
that. Nope.
no, I've seen it once in Rhode Island.
Oh wait, did you say Ice House?
No, I said Mickey's.
There's ice
Oh
out.
yeah, no, don't.
Old
I
English
get Ice
brand.
House.
Old English brand 800 malt liquor.
Haven't seen that.
Hey, what's up with New Hampshire?
AAL.
It has no malt.
Maybe I'm just not going to like the rough parts of town. Maybe that's
Yeah,
why I
man.
didn't get it.
That's
I
true.
think-
That's true.
I
You
think
gotta
we
you gotta
should do
try
those
different areas, Bumpy.
I think we should do those American Pale Ales after this. Maybe. We got to come up with 4 of them, right?
No,
Could.
no.
You could. But I'm saying do malt liquor, do ice beer, do light beer. That's something that everybody can get. And it's not a big hectic headache trying to find it. Then you can start branching out down the road.
The only thing Bumpy can get is New England IPAs. He's good for that.
It's the only thing he wants to buy. I don't blame him. Not that I don't like these beers I just drank. I think Coors is the one that won.
We don't need another ice beer. We don't need another ice beer, but maybe Dixie just wanted to make one. I don't know.
Yeah, why not? We don't need another New England IPA either, but they make them all the time.
but the
It's
Steel Reserve is the best-selling malt liquor in the country. It's number 1 in sales.
I believe it. It's everywhere, too.
6% version is more popular.
Damn.
the 6
beer, the ice beer, the Bud Ice is the top seller. It edges out.
I think Bud Ice might outsell Budweiser in New Orleans area.
The Bud Ice is popular here, and the Busch Ice here is really popular. The price of it is they undercut the competition here, and a couple years ago the price one it was less than $5 for a 12-pack for the Busch Ice. It was $4.74 at Walmart.
Wow, you're just giving it away.
For a 5.9% beer. So,
And Bud Ice has never been sold in Louisiana ever.
Really?
Never.
I enjoyed
For,
this.
for a 12-pack of like Natty Ice here, it's like $5.49 or something like that.
Natty is cheap. It is.
In the whole state, Ron?
Never in Louisiana.
It's very strange how sometimes like these distribution things it's very, very weird.
No Busch Ice. What were you saying, William? You enjoyed this, huh?
I did. I like the format, the interplay between while we're drinking it. I thought that was, something that everybody was connected with. I like the wild card, but sometimes people bring 5 beers that 99% of the people in the country can't get. So it becomes a sort of an insular type thing. Where I thought this was, I like the format here, and I enjoyed this. I'm glad each one of you are able to participate, and I look forward to the next one. The
Me too.
PBR versus MLH.
Oh, I'm gonna be there. I'll be there next Thursday, right?
Tentatively, I think that's it's always going to be an issue with some, the scheduling. You just have to. The bottom line is eventually you just pull the trigger and do the best you can, but you have to schedule it for some time.
Right. And William, if you remember 6 years ago, we started doing a series where we would get together each week and focus on a brand of beer.
I remember the beer, the single. Everybody brought the same beer.
Everybody brought the same.
Those
were really good.
Good idea.
Those were great hangouts because we reviewed Boddington's, we reviewed Chimay Grand Reserve, we reviewed anything you could think of, Heineken, Sierra Nevada Torpedo, and then eventually it died out because we ran out of beers that everybody could get.
The theme shows actually. I was back when that sort of started. The theme shows originated because of the fact that people couldn't get the beers. So rather than focus on a beer, focus on the theme, like ales, pale ales, this, and it become more like that. And that but to get back maybe toward the original premise of specific beers, I think is a good thing.
Right.
I was able to get this, and I think worked up a few tentative little tournaments, like for the pale ales or the light beers or the malt liquors and stuff, that maybe at least if somebody can't get 4, they can get 2 of them and participate in one round maybe. Then if that wins, then you go to the finals. So you might, if you can get Steel Reserve, you might be able to be in 2 out of the 3.
Right.
Semifinal, and if happen to win, in the final round. So you have to look at it as the glass half full or half empty. So I think
Jeff,
workable there. But anyway, we'll jump off here and appreciate each one coming tonight, and I look forward to the next round. And until then, bottoms up and don't spill a drop. Thanks for watching.
Whoa. Yes, sir.
Thanks for having us on, Willie.
Words to live by.